Stop scrolling, stop looking for advice that leaves you frustrated and unheard. What I'm about to reveal is not what the gurus tell you. Not the sweet, surface level, just be yourself nonsense. This goes deeper. This is the kind of truth that will make you question everything you thought you knew about respect, attraction, and power in relationships. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why most women talk and get ignored, why most men drift away without even realizing it, and most importantly, what it truly takes to command respect, to hold attention, and to become unforgettable without ever begging for it. I'm talking about the way you women talk, how they use words, tone, and presence like weapons, and why that changes everything. I guarantee what you're about to hear is something very few people will tell you. It's not about being louder, prettier, or more agreeable. It's about how to take control of a conversation without raising your voice, how to make men stop in their tracks when you speak, and how to make respect something that's given, not begged for. If you've ever felt overlooked, dismissed, or like no one truly listens to you, then this video is the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. Watch closely, because the insights I'm about to share will flip the script on everything you thought you knew about communication, attraction, and influence. Stay with me until the end, because once you hear this, there's no going back. You'll start seeing yourself differently. You'll start noticing how people react when you speak differently. And most importantly, you'll start understanding the real power behind a woman who knows her value, and how she lets the world feel it without saying a word more than necessary. The moment you truly understand this, nothing will ever look the same again. Respect isn't something you can demand and expect people to hand over like loose change. It doesn't work that way, especially in the dynamic between men and women. The truth is, respect is commanded. And it's commanded not through aggression, not through constant reminders of your worth, but through the way you carry yourself and the way you use your voice. Think about this. When you raise your voice to be heard, you've already given away the power of your presence. You're telling the other person that the volume of your words is stronger than the value of your boundaries. You woman doesn't need to outshout anyone. She doesn't need to keep repeating herself in hopes of finally being taken seriously. Her power is in saying less, but meaning every single word. This is psychological. Human beings are wired to pay attention to conviction. When someone speaks with certainty, calmly, without an ounce of desperation, it registers differently in the mind. It triggers a natural response of respect. Why? Because conviction signals confidence, and confidence signals stability. Men especially are drawn to stability in communication. It doesn't matter if he's strong, successful, or dominant. When he hears a woman speak with calm clarity, he knows he's dealing with someone who cannot be manipulated. And here's where philosophy comes in. The Stoics used to say that mastery of the self is the highest form of power. That applies here. When you choose composure over chaos, when you set boundaries without raising your blood pressure, you're practicing the purest form of self-mastery. That is what commands respect. It's not a fight for dominance. It's an unshakable presence that cannot be ignored. You woman makes it clear through her tone that respect is not negotiable. It's not a prize to be earned with gifts, compliments, or attention. It's the natural consequence of how she speaks, how she listens, and how she holds her ground. And once a man realizes that, he either rises to meet that standard or quietly removes himself from the equation. Both outcomes serve her, so let me leave you with this. Respect doesn't live in the noise. It lives in the silence between your words, in the calm strength of your tone, in the boundaries you refuse to compromise. Speak less, mean more, and watch how the world adjusts. That is how respect is commanded. Words are currency. And just like money, When you spend them carelessly, they lose their value. Too many women believe that if they explain enough, if they talk long enough, if they pour out every detail of what they feel, eventually they'll be understood. But the reality is, overspending your words only makes them cheaper. Men don't respect desperation disguised as communication. They respect clarity, they respect precision, they respect words that feel like they cost something. When you repeat yourself over and over, what you're really saying is, I don't trust that my words had weight the first time. And that lack of confidence is felt instantly. It turns your voice from an instrument of power into background noise. Ahai, Al, you woman knows this. She doesn't flood the conversation to fill silence. She doesn't plead to be taken seriously. Instead, she speaks once, she speaks directly, and then she lets her words breathe. Psychologically, this works on a deeper level than most people realize. Human attention is wired to filter out excess. Too much information, too many explanations, and the brain starts tuning out. But when someone communicates with sharpness, short, deliberate sentences, no wasted energy, the mind locks in. The listener knows, this matters, I need to pay attention here. That's the effect Ahai, Val, you woman has when she treats her words like gold instead of loose change. And let's go deeper for a moment. Philosophy teaches us that meaning is created through scarcity. Diamonds are valuable not because they're indestructible, but because they're rare. The same is true of your voice. When you use your words sparingly, when you don't give everything away in the first breath, you create weight. You create presence. You create a sense that your words are something to be earned, not taken for granted. Ahai, Al, you woman understands that silence is not weakness, it's strategy. She knows that pausing after a statement makes it echo louder than any argument could. She knows that holding back unnecessary explanations makes her message land harder. And she knows that men respect a woman whose language carries discipline, because it signals that she respects herself enough not to waste her energy. So let me leave you with this. If you want your voice to matter, stop spending it like pocket change. Treat it like an investment. Speak with intention, and let silence amplify your words. The less you say, the more power your voice holds. Power doesn't come from how loud you can get, it comes from how much control you can hold. Think about it, anyone can raise their voice. Anyone can throw emotions into a conversation like a storm. That doesn't take strength, that takes impulse. True strength is when you can feel that storm inside you, but choose to stay calm on the surface. That is power. That is influence, that is what makes people lean in when you speak. Men don't respect volume, they may react to it in the moment, but they don't respect it. What they respect is conviction. When a woman delivers her words with steady certainty, when her emotions don't run wild, but instead fuel her clarity, that's when her presence becomes undeniable. She isn't trying to dominate the conversation, she's anchoring it. And that anchor creates gravity. People naturally adjust around it. There's a psychological reason for this. In communication, emotions are contagious. When you speak with chaos, you spread chaos. When you speak with calm conviction, you spread stability, and stability is rare. In a world where everyone's reacting, shouting, and proving themselves, the one who can remain composed becomes magnetic. People don't just hear her words, they trust her energy. Philosophically, this ties back to self-mastery. The ancient thinkers believed that ruling others was insignificant compared to ruling yourself. That's the heart of being high value. You don't hand your emotions over to someone else's behavior. You don't let a man's tone dictate yours. You set the standard by controlling yourself, and in doing so, you control the entire interaction. So when you woman talks to men, she doesn't rush. She doesn't scramble to be understood. She doesn't let anger dictate her language. She slows down, she breathes, and she speaks with intentional force. Every word carries weight because it isn't competing with emotional noise. And that is what commands attention. Here's the truth. People may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. If your tone makes a man feel chaos, he will resist you. If your tone makes him feel grounded, he will respect you. So remember, this power isn't in the noise you make. It's in the control you keep, and when you own that control, your words become unshakable. That is how you turn self-control into undeniable influence.